All right, you made it to the last two problems on the study guide. These are similar problems, so I'm going to show you two different ways to do them. The first way I'm going to show you is using the Pythagorean theorem and the geometric mean, so getting away from the proportions. We don't have enough information to do the Pythagorean theorem yet, but we know that this altitude h is the geometric mean of 3 and 12. So without setting up a proportion, I could say h is equal to 3 times 12, and then we said we'll take the product and then the square root. So the square root of 3 times 12. 3 times 12 is 36. So we're going to take the square root of 36, and we know that that is 6. Or if you don't know, you're welcome to use a calculator. All right, so we can get that 6 using the geometric mean. Now we can find D, and again, we can always go back and do proportions like we did in the earlier problems, but I could find D now by using the Pythagorean theorem because this is a right triangle, these are the legs, D is the hypotenuse. So I might fill in a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and I might fill that in with 3, so 3 squared plus my next leg, 6, equals, instead of c, I'm going to now put that variable d in there since that's our hypotenuse. Okay, 3 squared is 9, 6 squared is 36, all of that equals d squared. When I add those, I get 45 equals d squared. Take the square root of both sides, the square root of 45 is equal to d, and we break out our calculator, square root 45, 6.708. So 6.708 is our approximation of D. Okay, now I'm going to label that over here in this picture, but I'm going to write the square root of 45 also. So we said it's approximately 6.708, because if I use the Pythagorean theorem again, using that radical is actually going to be really helpful. All right, so now we only have to find f, and we could treat f like we could use the entire triangle, the big one, or we could just use the medium one. So if we just use the medium triangle, we won't actually need that value of d. So let's do that. Let's just look at this triangle. We've got 2 legs and a hypotenuse. So we could use the Pythagorean theorem here, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. A squared, I always use my shortest leg for A, so I'm going to replace that with 6 squared, 12 for B, so 12 squared, and then instead of calling it C, I'm going to call it F since that is the variable in the problem. So now 6 squared is 36, 12 squared is 144, all of this adds up to F squared. Use my handy dandy calculator, 144 plus 36 is 180. So 180 is equal to f squared, and now I can take the square root of both. So the square root of 180 is approximately 13.416. So 13.416 is our approximation of f. All right. So we found h, d, and f without ever drawing triangles like we did up here. Now, I don't really care which way you use to, like what method you use. I just care that you can do this correctly. So pick the one that works best for you and let me know if you need help. All right, last but not least, number 29. I'm going to go back to my proportions for this one. So I'm going to sketch my small, medium, and large triangle. My small has a short leg of 2, a long leg of h, a hypotenuse of a. My medium, and I always sketch them facing the same way. My medium has a short leg of h, a hypotenuse of b, and a long leg of 16. And again, feel free to like highlight that or cover up part of that triangle so the part you're looking at stands out. And then my large triangle, the whole shebang, the large triangle has a short leg of a long leg of b, and a hypotenuse of 16 plus 2. So 16 plus 2 is 18. All right, So it doesn't really matter what order you solve for these variables, but again, in this proportion, if I want to start with A, I'm looking for two places where I see A. And I see A in the small triangle as the hypotenuse, and then I don't see it in the medium, but I see it in the large triangle as the short leg. So that means I'll need to use the hypotenuse in the short leg of both of these triangles. So I'll need the 18 and I'll need the 2. Okay, so now I could set up my proportion A over 2 equals 18 over A. So I'm going blue to red, small to large. You could also set it up other ways. What matters is that you'll know you set it up correctly if your cross product is A squared, because it turns out that A is going to be the geometric mean of 18 times 2. So 18 times 2 is that another 36? Yes, it is. 18 times 2 is 36. So A squared equals 36. Take the square root of both sides. I know I'm outside of the border a little, but A equals 6. All right. So we found A. Now we could go ahead and find B or H. It doesn't really matter what order. Let's say I'm going alphabetical. I want to find B next. Look for where in the problem we see B, or where in our triangles, I should say. There's no B in the small triangle, so don't worry about it. Look at the medium and the large. There's a B on the hypotenuse of the medium, and then there's a B on the long leg of the large. So that means, I'm running out of highlighter colors over here, that means that I'm going to need the long leg of both of these as well as the hypotenuse of both. So now I'm not even looking at my small triangle, but I could set up my ratio B over 18 or B over 16. I'm going to do B over 18, so medium to large, blue only, B over 18 is equal to 16 over B. Now you might have B over 16 equals 18 over B. What matters is that our cross products end up being B squared and whatever the product of 18 times 16 is. Turns out that that is 288. I know my calculator is off screen, but I'm definitely using it for these problems. Take the square root of 288 and we get approximately 16.971. So our approximation of B is 16.971. Last but not least, we're going to find H. And you might just do it by taking the geometric mean of 2 and 16, because we said that height is always one of our geometric means. And we really found that A and B are also geometric means in this problem. But instead of doing that, I'm going to show you with the proportion, and you can check it because it'll be the same math. So if I look at where H is, I see H in my small and my medium triangles, so I don't need the large. H is going to be right here on the long leg. And then in my medium triangle, it's on the short leg. So if I look at this, I just need long to short, long to short. So I'm going to